Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark, your fat friend, and now it's time for the 13th installment of the Fat and Black Connection Podmas Whiskey Tour of the World. As you well know, just did number 12, about to do number 13. Unfortunately, as I mentioned in the last episode, been super busy at work. I apologize. I'm going to do my best to try and keep on this, but it's only going to get more hectic at work over the next few weeks. So, um, we'll see what happens. But we're here to try another whiskey. Whiskey Tour of the World, fantastic box set. I picked it up at Costco for around 150. I can't speak highly enough about it. We're getting into a new book today, so we're into the Brown book. This one is called Adventure. So this is volume 3, contains 650 milliliter bottles of whiskey. And inside this book, we've got some interesting information. So, the four corners of the globe: north, south, east, and west. Your whiskey tour of the world features whiskeys from the four corners of the globe. From the distant shores of Tasmania, where the climate and topography are similar to Scotland, to nascent producers like Peru, where corn is the staple grain, you will enjoy an astonishing range of taste and flavor from these little known whiskey producing locations. And then it goes into talking about the different locations: Scotland, Ireland, India, Japan, Scandinavia, South America. And inside, we have 6 bottles. You'll notice one is missing, which is the one I'm going to be drinking shortly. Um, Speaking of which, shall we just dive on in? So, tonight, for this episode, we will be doing Fielden. So, Fielden is out of England, and you can see it on the screen. I've got my handy dandy guide. So, Fielden whiskey out of England, rye whiskey. This is our first rye. 48% alcohol by volume. This is actually also slightly higher than most that we've seen. Fielden is a whiskey that puts farming at the heart of everything it does. It prides itself as the English whiskey that's changing farming field by field, harvest by harvest. Um, Not going to read the whole thing to you. What's whiskey got to do with farming? Everything. Fielden Rye Whiskey. This whiskey is the best of Fielden's fields, bottled. The recipe used to make Fielden Rye whiskey is composed of malted rye, malted barley, and unmalted rye and wheat. This whiskey is double distilled in both pot and column stills and laid down in American oak casks and a selection of ex wine casks. Only has a couple of awards. Number 34, 2023 Drinks International World's Most Admired Whiskeys. So number 34, is that an award? Winner of the 2024 Walpole Brands of Tomorrow. Okay. So, what that tells me potentially is that this might be a couple years away from being a really great whiskey. So, I guess we'll see. But some tasting notes on the nose: apples and wild berries with caramel and butter. Okay. Uh, on the palate, flaky pastry with hazelnuts and freshly baked bread. On the finish, winter spices and herbs, savory chocolate and toast. What is going on right now? The one yesterday sounded like a dessert whiskey. I guess we're gonna stick with that, huh? So, Fielden Whiskey of England. Nice bottle, nice logo. Let's see if we can get it to pick up. It says rye whiskey distilled in England, fields full of love, whiskey full of flavor, 48% alcohol by volume, 50 milliliter, about a double shot, aged not less than 36 months, product of England. Let's crack it. This is even more subtle than the last one on the 12th. I barely am picking anything up. As always, saving a little for later. Give it a second to open up. Maybe we'll get some more smell on it. It's got a nice caramel color to it. And as always, I am, of course, drinking in the Whiskey Tour of the World official glass. It is very sweet smelling. I need to get my nose in there. I'm getting almost no alcohol on this. It's just very sweet, very dry almost. Hmm, here we go. I am getting more than anything the winter spices. It definitely feels like, think of Christmas Eve. You're drinking some spice cider or something. Some of those floral scents you might get around. Some of those like cinnamon type spices you might get around. Not maybe apples. Maybe is that what I'm getting? Let's see. I am getting a little bit of a buttery on the front end. I definitely understand what they mean when they say flaky pastry or freshly baked bread. Um, it's there at the front, but it doesn't carry through. Um, but yeah, definitely those winter spices and herbs. That to me is the overpowering taste of what I'm getting in this one. And now I'm almost picking up a scent of like a Christmas tree, almost like a pine tree. Um, so it's good. It's definitely not one of my favorites. It's not one of my least favorites. It's middle of the pack, middle of the road. Um, yeah, I mean, if you ever see Fielden somewhere, rye whiskey, I'd say give it a shot. I definitely wouldn't say to shy away from it, but there are others in this set that I would say to lean into first. Um, so yeah, I'll be back with two more today because I still got to get caught up. Um, so I'll see you real soon.